Today I'm going to show you how to do a bank of trees and hardly get any backgrounds at all. I want the picture to flow, and therefore the quantity of water that I use is going to be quite important. My paints and brushes are all available from the SAA. They're various makes and blends, but they're all easily available. So we'll start off with a nice amount of water. I've already pre-painted some of the picture to make it easier, and I'm just mixing some nice dark colours, and we're going to get cracking. The quantity of water is important, because if you start off with it fairly moist and nice and strong, and then gradually keep adding other colours as you want them without continually going back into the water pot, it does help. So here we go. We want a nice tree like that. I'm not filling it all in. We've got to leave room for the birds, or we end up with a rather large pile of them at the bottom. And changing the colour, but not going back into the water pot. Just keeping it like that. Little bit up there. You see I've got a soft mountain painted in the background, and that's showing through the trees rather nicely. Keep changing the colour. It brings the variety like that. And we'll leave that tree there. Tiny bit more water now, because I'm moving on to the next section. A little bit of different colour. There we go. And again, another nice dark one at the top there. I'm using the side of the brush because it gives a nice stroke. You get a little bit of what they call dry brush, this effect in here, where the paint doesn't quite take all the way. It gives a nice natural look. Now, while I've got that nice dark colour there, I'm going to draw in a few trunks and branches and pull the trunks down from those trees there. I like that. And then that all looks nice and natural in the background. They don't have to be exact. This is not an architectural drawing. This is a landscape of Friars Crag on Derwentwater. Beautiful area. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit more greeny colour, because I'm working down towards the shore. I want a nice, and you'll see I'm only using just the one mix of paint. Sometimes people say, what colour are you using? Well, the answer is it's a bit of this, a bit of that, and a bit of what was in the tray. And you just have to keep practicing and trying colours out and so on like that. Now I'm coming down into some rocks there. Make those a little darker. Now they're in the water, so they want a fairly level base. We'll get to the reflections in a moment, so don't worry about that. Just a touch more water then. And then sweep in some nice colour around there, but we'll have it a little bit more variety in it. There's the shoreline coming in, nice and broken, getting a bit of light in it like that. Sweeping it round again. Lovely, rich, juicy colours. Little bit more water, not much. We don't want it to run everywhere. But this dry brush effect is nice. And then while we've got something, we'll just put in some little dibbly marks. Dibbly, by the way, is a very technical term. Dibbly marks. And they go along like that, just to make a little bit of interest along there. Sweep that colour into your wet paint, because it's not going to do anything silly. Just drop a little bit more dark into the bottom of there. I can do that because my brush isn't wetter than the paint I'm going into. The paint is thicker that I'm putting in, so it sucks back, and you get that. A little bit of more darkness in that one in there. Right. Now then, we can have a go at the reflections now. Now, reflections do frighten people sometimes, but there's really no need to. There are several ways of doing it, but the way I'm doing it for this picture is to have left the water dry and to have got some of my mountain colours and tree colours ready. So there we go, mixing a little bit of the bluey mauve. It wants a little more water in it. There we go. And we want, got some of that nice dark colour there. We'll just make a little bit more of it. Right, and now we can go. So all I'm going to do is damp the water area. I'm leaving a tiny thin edge along the far thing. Now that's just run on my rocks a little bit, but don't panic. As I said, there is no need to panic. Just bring that round like that. There we are. And now for the fun. Just underneath where these things are, just drop in roughly the shape. That's a bit pointy there and there. That one wants a bit more dark under it there. This one wants a bit more of the burnt sienna around it there. You're more or less just mirroring what you've already painted. Now that is a little bit strong, so again we won't panic. We'll rinse out the brush and spread it around a bit. There we go. And a little bit of mauvey there, because that's how the trees are. So there are some nice reflections. I think we could have just a little darker bit along that back edge, just because it's in the distance. And you'll notice I've done all this with one brush. I haven't had to fiddle about and change brushes until now, when I'm now going to do a little bit of something different. Clean damp brush, a slightly worn out stiff brush, and I'm going to lift because I want a little bit of interest in there. So I lift and dab. Just a clean damp brush, some little fence posts. Not too regular. They weren't put there by engineers. They've been there for years and they're all falling over and leaning around the place. We'll have another little one in the back there. Now those are our fence posts. So now with my rigger brush, which of course is so-called for painting rigging and very fine things, and some very dark paint. That looks about dark enough. We'll just paint in the shadow side of the posts. No, we'll have it a little bluer. Again, don't panic, just change the paint and put it in like that. Now these posts go down into the water, so they go lower than where I marked them. That one's still a little damp, so we'll just wait on that a moment. Just a little indication of shadow behind these posts, and it really lights them up. A little bit of shadow into the water like that, a little bit of reflection. And that is a simple way of bringing a whole band of trees round into the foreground. No hard edges, no back runs, lovely changes of colour, and it all makes for a bit of continuity. Thank you.